Hello and welcome to our NFL Weekly Prediction Show. Once again, I'm your host Jalen Green with co-host Cole Stefan. We're going over Week 15 in the NFL. This is our YouTube version of our extended video.
Wow, week 15 already. I am quite impressed. So let's travel down to Minnesota as the Chicago Bears visit the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are coming off a tough 26-14 loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, while the Chicago Bears absolutely destroyed the Houston Texans 36-3. So, looking at both sides, we're going to start with the Bears real quick. Mitchell Trubisky played a nice game last week, and although I don't know his game numbers from that game, he now currently has over 1,000 passing yards on the season with 13 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He has an incredible receiving option, Allen Robinson, who has been the center of trade talks earlier in the season. He has over 1,000 yards receiving and 6 total touchdowns. Even when Allen Robinson isn't the best option, he has a running option in David Montgomery, over 700 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. He'll have to go up against a really good Vikings offense as well, as the Vikings led by Kirk Cousins and is over 3,000 yards passing with 27 touchdowns and 12 interceptions, come with a nice combination of their own. They have an excellent, if not elite, running game with Dalvin Cook and is over 1,300 yards rushing and 14 touchdowns, plus a new wide receiver to replace Stefan Diggs in Justin Jefferson, over 1,000 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. The key to this game is going to be the defense, shutting down the opposing offenses. The Bears defense has 30 sacks to 7 interceptions, while the Vikings defense has 21 sacks and 11 interceptions. I totally think that, the Vikings just have better momentum here, and I'm going to pick them to pull through. Their defense is going to shut down the Bears' decently talented offense. Vikings are going to win 10 or more.
Next, we travel to MetLife Stadium where the New York Giants play host to the Cleveland Browns. This is going to be a decent game. The Browns coming off an exciting Monday Night Football loss versus the Baltimore Ravens in a 47-42 game. Baker Mayfield played his heart out, played every down, made great throws, got his team in position to score multiple times, including a rushing touchdown himself, but they just couldn't stop Lamar when it counted. It's going to be a good game for them traveling to MetLife, a good bounce-back game for them. Giants coming off another loss themselves. Daniel Jones coming back as a starter didn't really help much for the Giants. They lost 26-7 to the Arizona Cardinals. And Daniel Jones was sacked multiple times, 5-6 times in that game. So protection is going to be an issue for the Giants. I think Myles Garrett and that Browns defense have something to prove after having a struggle on Monday night. I'm going to pick the Browns here. They're going to win by at least 14-17 points.
Yeah, and that game's on Sunday night. I'm really looking forward to that. So finally, let's travel down to a 4:25 game as the New Orleans Saints play host to the Kansas City Chiefs. This matchup is much hyped and would have been even more hyped if Drew Brees was expected to play. Right now, he isn't, but we'll see what happens between the time of this recording and Sunday. Anywho, let's just go right into our matchup of the week before I do mention the defenses. It's going to be our matchup of the week is between the Chiefs offense and the Saints offense. Starting with the Chiefs, the Super Bowl champion Chiefs, they have, of course, one of the best quarterbacks in the game in Patrick Mahomes. Over 4,000 yards passing, and although he did have 3 interceptions this previous game against the Dolphins, he only has 5 on the year, which is impressive. 33 touchdowns, by the way. Let's not forget about that. In addition, Patrick Mahomes is 2 elite, and yes, this is very true, very elite, receiving options. And, of course, Travis Kelce with his over 1,200 yards receiving, and Tyreek Hill over 1,100 yards. Combined is over 2,000 yards. Plus, he has a nice running game, too, in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie. 720-plus yards with 4 touchdowns. Meanwhile, the Saints are going to have to rely on Taysom Hill, who's been all right. He has this nice balance of passing and rushing. Total adds up to about to a little over 1,300. 9 total touchdowns, 4 passing and 5 rushing, to 2 interceptions. Even Taysom Hill has some nice options, whether it be the run game and Alvin Kamara with his over 700 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns, or his 2 receivers themselves. Not the same as the Chiefs, but it's Emmanuel Sanders and Michael Thomas. And although they are under 1,000 yards combined on the season, they've looked pretty impressive. Now, before I do mention my pick here, I'd like to go with the defense real quick. The Chiefs are looking dominant, all right, with their defense, 24 sacks and 15 interceptions, while the Saints are looking pretty good, 36 sacks and 13 interceptions. I totally think the Chiefs are gelling more, and I'm going to pick the Chiefs here. It's going to be by, let's say, 3 to 10 to 3 points or 3 to 10 points. And here's why. I mean, it's not because even with Breeze, I don't think it would have mattered, but I really feel like the Chiefs' offense is just, again, gelling more, and that chemistry is really going to push them over the top against the pretty dominant Saints team.
And those are our picks for Week 15 in the NFL. Once again, I'm your host, Jalen Green, with co-host Cole Stefan. Make sure to follow us at UCTV Sports and on YouTube at UCTV Channel 14 for more content. We'll see you next week as we go over the games for Week 16 in the NFL.